To order, and we'll move on to item 4.1, the Public Works Report. Councillor Stenhouse.
The council received the March-May 2022 Public Works Report for information.
All right, and I know you said you had a question or a comment on this one. I'll let you get started.
Okay, so in your report,
Not my report.
in Vern's report, he lists grass cutting at Lagoon, grass cutting at Raw Water Reservoir,
Yep.
weed maintenance along the highway in the town. There's another, but, so my question is, why isn't grass cutting at cemeteries listed here? How much time was spent on, or if it, why it's not listed?
I don't know why you didn't include it. They've been doing it for like a month now, so.
So
I don't
could
know.
that be included in
Yeah.
his report, just so we can, because it seems like it's never showed up on a report and it's a hot topic right now. So if you could include the,
Not unless they just basically included in lots of grass cutting and weed whacking around town, so.
yeah,
It's within, all within our municipal boundaries, so. I don't know if they included in there, but I can,
if we could get it in a, like,
Yeah.
bullet point like the rest.
Yeah.
Because he is actually zoning in and saying exactly where the grass cutting is taking place.
Okay, you.
Yeah.
Councillor Martins? Oh, another one?
So I don't, yeah, there's Donna Tanaka. I don't even know if this is a question you can answer. Where are they picking garbage?
typically they will start, when the summer students are hired, they'll do the main highway road ditches, like out to the outer limits of our boundaries, and 49, both ways. And they usually go out past the Stampede grounds when they go north, so.
And then my question, how do they, what are the priorities when they grade back alleys? Because I know, like, do they grade all back alleys or just?
I believe they tried to hit all the back alleys.
Okay, so they've obviously not gotten to some.
No,
No.
they didn't get yours?
Well, it's not, you know, where the library is, that is a very trafficked back alley, so it's, you know, in fact, I was gonna ask, maybe, I don't know, obviously not the town, because the
I
town.
know they were in a residential areas for sure, so.
Okay, do you know if there's any sort of dust control, have we ever talked about it in town, or is it just the county that does dust?
We used to do dust control on, not in alleys, but on our gravel roads. And as we were milling our roads out to do projects like repaving, we would take them millings and put them on the road, and then that would
Kind of,
take
yeah.
care of the dust. Because at one time, we were up to the mid-20s, I think, $1,000 for calcium chloride or whatever
Yeah,
it is that
magnesium chloride,
we
yeah,
put
yeah,
on.
Exactly.
So
Thank you.
it's another fix.
Councillor Tanaka?
I just have a question regarding his prepared campground for opening. Do we have a contractor who is looking after it?
We do now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do we know who that is? Can you say who that is?
I believe it's Colin Shelliford, wasn't it? But I think that's who it is.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect.
Oh, James, I couldn't, your hand was just behind him, sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Well, he's got that big Irish head.
That's right.
Just a comment there to Councillor Martins, the alley behind the library is what you're referring to, right? That might not actually be an alley.
Some of it is.
Some of it is, because I know there's some funky places in town where it looks like an alley and it smells like an alley, but it's not an alley.
Are you saying it's a roadway or?
No, it's nothing. It's just there.
Closed.
Yeah, it's closed, so it may not legally be an alley anymore. I know behind the courthouse is another one that's not actually an alley.
Okay, yeah, I would bet that that one should be, because it backs out onto the people have garages there and coming out, but, yeah,
Yeah,
anyways.
you would
yeah,
think.
You would think. Yeah, and Donna stole one of my questions, but I've got a couple, and then Councillor Yushishin. I'll start with, when are the trail paving starting out at J.C. Park?
I don't believe Ruel's plant is up and going. It could be, I'm not privy to whether it is or not. But, right now, the crew they're starting at like 4 o'clock in the morning or 4:30, they're tarring streets, so.
Oh, okay.
And, we've kind of, tried to save a few dollars, and instead of hiring laborers, I think, Vern and Mike have utilized the summer students and have put 3 summer students on that crew with 3 of our own permanent employees, so.
On what crew for
On
tarring?
Tarring, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I believe today, they would have been in for like 3.5 days of tarring. And I think he said that if all went well without the rain, 6 full days or 6.5 days, they figured that they could be done and then clean up the equipment and put it away.
Okay, if you could just see when the proposed start date is. I mean, I know people are asking because they want to go on those new trails, or they have the image of being able to get down them. And some said, well, can we rollerblade on them yet? I said, no, I wouldn't go just yet. But so that was question one, and maybe if we got an answer, we can let the people know. And the other thing is, I see that there's a culvert in at Tim's, or it looks like it's a new culvert. Was that us putting that in?
We did put that in, and that was put in a couple of days ago.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to see if we had
Yeah,
met that promise.
Mike had met down there with the site foreman and asked where it had to go, and
Okay,
it's installed in the right spot.
okay, thank you. And I just want to give a shout out to Public Works and seeing the street sweeper out, that's great. There was still some areas in town that needed it, and they got it, so it was good to see. Councillor Yushishin?
I was just wondering, completed several customer service requests for residents. I'm just wondering what that would be. Would it be like a,
Okay.
oh, okay, I was thinking like a water meter or something.
Could be line locates.
Oh, I see.
I know, my neighbor had the inspection chamber in front of her yard. She asked for it to be lowered, because her bad neighbor kept hitting it in the winter time.
Yeah, her,
Oh,
So,
Your neighbor requested it?
yes.
Okay.
because he's the bad neighbor that
Yeah.
kept hitting it.
It took a while.
my phone's on.
But okay, Bird, or town council, so I looked at the Tim Horton site that we talked about. To me, it looks like it's a berm that has been built up, and the purpose of the berm is for containment. So why, with this culvert, is it a berm that was built there?
Not by the town. If-
Because the
if it-
purpose of a berm is to contain something.
Are you talking about how they built the lot, the whole lot up itself, or?
Well, if you look, like, when this first come up, I went out and I had a look at it, okay? So, to me, it looks like it's a berm that is built around like PV Mart and P-Vine and coming to Tim's.
Oh, on the main highway.
Yeah, so
That's
by
not
putting
bad.
a culvert in a berm, you're actually breaching the berm and the purpose of it. So is it a ditch or is it a berm that's there?
Well, do you know where the culvert is? It would be on, right across from the entryway to the campground is where they put the culvert.
It's on the east side of the lot.
It's just on the east side of the lot, so it's not along the highway that you're referring to.
And I know a couple of years ago, PV Mart was having some issues with water backing up into their parking lot. So, we went down and I did a survey all along from there, all the way around the corner to get the water flowing, and we did the locates, and the Public Works crew actually went out, and Mike did with the backhoe and graded it, and now there's no more issues, the water gets away, and
Thank you, I just, yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Vern?
Next time I'll make sure
Yeah.
Bert's here.
Yeah.
Seeing none, we had the motion to receive for information, all in favor? I didn't see his hand up, so, yeah. Oh, I do now, but I was saying, I didn't see he had a question, that's why. Okay, moving on then to our minutes from May 10th. Get a motion on this?
Move that we accept the minutes from the May 10th, 2022 special meeting, public hearing as presented.
All right, anybody see any changes or alterations needed? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Moving on then to the May 24th meeting.
Actually,
Oh,
yeah, okay, so we just approved the May 10th minutes.
yes,
But in the minutes of the May 24th, we approved the minutes of the May 10th meeting, 5.1.
There were two, remember there was that public hearing? I wondered about that too, but this is the public hearing, somehow we must have missed it. That's my best explanation.
yeah, so what did we approve?
We just approved
Yeah,
the May 10th meeting.
The special
In the
meeting.
meeting, in the minutes from the May
Oh.
24th meeting, it says we approved the minutes of the May 10th meeting.
Regular meeting.
that was the
Regular.
regular meeting of council, not the special meeting,
Not the public hearing.
the public hearing.
So it must have got missed in the.
Yeah,
minutes.
so
That's
the,
why I wondered if it was missed.
yeah, good catch.
Okay.
But, so there was, remember we had the two meetings, we had the public hearing, and then we went on to our special meeting, so the May 10th ones were approved, but they obviously didn't include the special meeting, the public hearing minutes. Okay, so on to the 24th minutes, get a motion on this one? All right, go ahead, go ahead, Councillor Dunn.
The council approved the minutes for the May 24th, 2022 regular meeting of council as presented.
All right, any questions, issues on these minutes? All in favor? Carried. The May 24th meeting of the Committee of the Whole. We've had lots of meetings.
Yep, I do have.
Councillor Yushishin?
The council approved the minutes from the May 24th, 2022 committee of the whole meeting as presented.
Okay, and Councillor Stenhouse, you had a,
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
So, number 3, strategic priorities. Councillor Stenhouse left at 8:07, returned at 8:08. Where would I have gone for 1 minute?
We're doing the previous one, that one's
Oh,
next.
sorry.
God, keep up, holy, can I get you some coffee?
But that is in the minutes.
The next one, there's
Oh.
two, remember?
May 27th is the
Oh,
one.
that's the one.
May
That's the
24th.
one you're talking about. That's from this motion.
so that we're on the May 24th meeting.
Committee of the whole,
Yeah.
page
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
86.
sorry, May 27th meeting, nothing in the
Oh.
So May 24th, there's nothing in there, except for one page.
Oh, yeah, right, that was the meeting after the
Yes,
meeting.
yes.
Okay, let's go.
I think I'm psychic, I get you.
All right, so now I'm confused. We're on the Committee of the Whole meeting, yes.
For June 20th.
It was the
June
first
24th.
half of the meeting.
Yes, the first half of the meeting. Any other comments on this one? Sit- Oh, so we are on page 86 of your agenda. That's the minutes that we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, 85, 86.
So you're saying May, or you're saying June, not May?
No, May 24th.
Oh, May 24th, okay, good, sorry.
See how you got us going, yeah. That's what happens.
Read the fine print in your agenda.
It starts around this late at night when you've been up for this long. Okay, now, did we get a motion on that?
Yeah, we did, Donna made the
No,
motion.
yes,
Teresa makes the motion.
Or, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. So, no questions on it?
No.
We're clear which minutes we're talking
Right.
about? All in favor? All right, so moving on to the May 27th minutes. Get a motion on this one? Counselor Martins?
That council approved.
Oh, sorry.
Let John be in the minutes.
He
did,
moved
he
the one.
did.
Oh, he did get one.
Yeah.
Anyway, the council approved the minutes from May 27th, 2022, committee of the whole meeting as presented.
All right, now this is one you had a question you're
Yeah, where
wondering.
did I disappear to for 1 minute?
We can't answer where you went.
Maybe, I don't know, we went.
Maybe meant to get a drink or a quick bio break, I don't know, but if you leave the room, it has to be noted.
1 minute.
Yep. If
Yeah,
you,
I know, but I,
You don't remember leaving is what you're saying.
exactly, and what could I do in 1 minute?
And that too.
ask any 2-year-old what they can do in 1 minute.
You can do it.
Not after.
And then we ended up, I think people were running out because we had been running quite a while and then 2 left and then we called the bio break after that. So once we saw people were leaving and coming back, we just took a break so everybody could have a break.
Okay.
Yeah, must, because I see you left too on the second page, right?
Well, that was my question, I couldn't figure out. I couldn't figure out why I was only gone for 3 minutes. I remember going, but it was more than 3 minutes. Like, there's nothing that can be done in 3 minutes.
What can be done in 1 minute? I can't even make it to
I don't
that
know.
door in 1 minute.
would you like us to amend the timing?
Well,
I can give mine out on this, so.
Yeah, I
It's
don't know
okay,
where
it's
you
okay.
went, but, and I'm assuming Kaylee got the time where you're coming and going, right?
I wasn't here that meeting either.
Oh,
So it wasn't Kelly, there you go.
Oh, was it?
Gosh.
so,
If you feel strongly, we can amend them based on the recommended time.
so
If
you
you want
thought
10
it
minutes.
was 4 minutes to go and come back?
I think if I remember correctly, I think we had gone and then,
but seriously, Donna, what can I do in 1 minute? I
no,
can't go to the
no,
washroom,
no,
I can't
what
have
it,
a
what
snack.
it was is that
You stepped up.
wherever, at what point at 8 o'clock, we figured, okay, it's, we need a break, and we left, and then they realized that, okay, well, they're leaving, so we called the break.
No, but I returned. I left at 8:07 and I returned at 8:08. I didn't leave and not come back.
I don't know. I left for 2 minutes, because I'm right after you, I left at 8:10 and came back at 8:12.
Oh,
Did you have to go get some from your truck,
In 1 minute?
Judy?
In 1 minute?
Well,
she's not sure.
But it's okay, let's move
We'll
on.
leave it, you're all right with leaving
I'm
it?
good.
Okay. No other issues with those minutes? All in favor? Carried. And then moving on to the June 7th meeting. Counselor Dunn?
The council approved minutes from June 7th, 2022, special meeting as presented.
All right.
Any questions?
And seeing no oh, you do,
I
sorry,
do
go
have a
ahead.
question. So 3.2, it says that council moved out of closed session, but there's no motion, no description, no,
There was no motion made after that.
Did you go into, yeah, you did.
Yeah, we went in closed session, we came out of closed session without a motion. All right, all in favor? Carried. Moving on to 6.1. Get a motion on this one?
I'll make the motion that council receive the proposed estimate to remove trees from the old dairy lot and 2 residential lots for information.
All right. Any questions, comments on that? Nope, everybody's read and understood, all right, all in favor? Carried. 9, Going on to 6.21, the museum letter of support. Councillor Danaka.
I make a motion that council provide the High Prairie and District Museum Society a letter of support indicating the town of High Prairie has a long-term lease with the High Prairie and District Museum Society for the museum building.
All right, thank you. My question is, what kind of an agreement do we have with the museum for that building? Is there a formal lease that's been signed? Is there any kind of an agreement on that?
I think that it's like a never-ending lease, say that, for that building. I can't really remember.
It is an old lease.
Yeah.
And it is for $1. If I remember correctly, the comment is that we take care of the exterior and they take care of the interior.
Yeah.
So there's no expiry date on that lease?
Similar to
Probably a
the Billy
99
Club.
year. Because it was made in the early, I'm gonna say, is it 60s or 70s? Like it's a long time.
No, it was the 60s because the Centennial time capsule was buried outside, and that was 67.
It would have been at the time that probably the library moved over to the Moose building, because the library was in there, right?
Yeah, but the building itself is from the 67 at
It's
least.
Centennial.
Yeah.
Okay, but so we already have a long-term agreement with them. This is just verifying it for the purposes of applying for that CFEP grant, right? All right, anybody have any other questions on this? Councillor Danaka?
Now that I think about it, we should probably maybe relook at that lease, because the lease was probably signed when it was the library / museum. And now it's just the museum.
Good.
We could look at it, but if memory serves, I think we looked at it again when it was just the museum. I think, take a look and find it, but I think we redid
I've
it.
never seen the lease.
All right, well, we've got the one motion, and then after this, we can make a motion that we visit that and look at updating it. It's been a while regardless, right?
Yeah.
And maybe a good time to update that. Okay, any other questions on the letter of support for the museum? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. And Councillor Danaka?
I make a motion that council revisit the lease agreement with the High Prairie and District Museum.
Or just update the lease agreement with the museum?
Revisit the lease agreement with the High Prairie and District Museum and update it accordingly.
Okay. Any questions on that? All in favor? Good, carried. 6.3, the joint health and,
No, there's
oh, sorry, 6.22, yep, my mistake. Get a motion on that one. Councillor Danaka?
The council received the request to support the High Prairie and District Museum CFEP grant application for information and request the board to submit concrete budget amounts that can be placed in 2023 capital budget. since 2022 has already been approved, it's not there, so we have to look at it for next year.
Hang on, say that again?
The 2022 budget's already been approved, and there's no budget money in there for the repairs, so we'd have to look at that for 2023.
I thought that was approved.
20-some thousand
Right.
for the fascia and stuff, but not the rest of the entranceway and that kind of stuff was not in there. We have no money for that.
So can they put that on hold and do it as a project instead of, do you know what I'm saying?
Are you saying can they put the 28,000?
Yeah.
That's what
That
you're
was
saying.
approved, the money that was approved. Because if we're gonna go ahead with this,
The projects are quite separate, like to put up the metal trim around is quite different than doing the boot room or the interior doors and windows and the sidewalks. I think you could do them separately and not be redoing them or damaging, maybe, you know, the roof, but usually they can go around the trim on a roof and not damage it there, that's flat roofs like that. But I know what you're saying, you're thinking there might be some efficiencies
yeah,
if you
exactly.
do it separately, but,
No, as a whole.
yeah, or sorry, yeah, as a whole versus separately, and I don't know if you would, because these would be different types of jobs and likely different crews doing it. Is that what, Councillor Martins?
So Councillor Janaka, am I understanding you right that the museum for 2023 will be asking the town for 80,000 plus for this particular grant match?
I believe so, and then of course with this grant match, in-kind donations is also, can be considered as monetary.
Would the grant not be contingent on, because oftentimes the grants have a timeline to start the project, and if we're not saying that we're gonna approve the money until 2023, will that impact the grant?
That I don't know.
The deadline for the grant is 15th of September. They, from my experience as the tennis club, we applied on a grant for windscreens and we didn't hear until like 4 months later. So they're probably not going to hear anything until 4 months later. I would doubt if they're gonna hear anything, that they can do anything before next summer on that if they get the grant.
It's not even that, the grant application, you know, stipulates that we're putting that money into place, 80,000+, so it's almost a supposition, and then have we agreed to that? We haven't, because 2023's budget hasn't even been talked about.
Oh, right, so yeah, they wanna be able to put in their grant
Right.
application,
It's like the cart before the horse.
yeah.
Just a provincial, the C factor, remind me, is that federal or provincial?
Provincial,
See, I mean, we've got to keep in mind too, there's an election coming up in less than a year.
We might get 100% of it, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
CFEP has not changed any criteria, even in an election year. It's always 50-50.
well, I mean, it might, you know, CFAP, but, you know, there might be other sources of funding that open up.
oh, in no place does it, in the letter that the library said that they want us to say that they would, like I'm just looking, it doesn't request that we support them with matching dollars at this point in this letter. What's that?
56,000.
I'm just looking at the letter
Oh,
that,
but usually grants are matching,
It says to be funded by the town's unrestricted reserves.
yeah.
That's in the RFP.
it's in the RFD, but it's not in the letter, so
Okay.
where did we get the information from the,
The application would cover half of the total project costs.
okay.
That's in the RFD. Read in the first paragraph in the back of the.
I got that from the RFD.
Not the letter, yeah.
but when I look at the letter that's applied, it's not there, so I'm just wondering where this came from.
The
The
letter that's
information
in
was
here twice, it's the same letter twice.
Yeah,
The information came from Darlene.
oh, okay. And so just so I'm clear, she wants a commitment now for 2023, so she can apply on the grant, is that the understanding?
It would be beneficial to know, however, there are quarterly intakes, so if you feel not comfortable doing it now and you delay it by December 15th to know for sure, that is council's prerogative, but it does delay, they do quarterly intakes for the CFAP grant.
Right?
Do you know how long it takes, or how long do they have a year to complete the project, or, like, I'm not familiar with the CFAP grant. So if they apply in September 15th and they're approved after that date, do they have till September 15th of 2023 to?
No, I think they have a year, like their calendar year, so if they needed an extension to December 31st, they would have no problem getting it. CFAP is not, tied to a particular, you would put on your application when you think you're gonna begin the project and when you think you're gonna end the project in the application itself. So if it takes 18 months from the date you applied, that's not an issue usually.
Okay. Yeah, but I think for the application process, she wants to submit it now with the hope of getting approval, so that, because again, if they submit it for the September 15th, they probably won't find out until, yeah. And the other thing I look at on this is it's all exterior stuff, which is the town's responsibility, right? Like, that's our responsibility. It's a question of, do we want to commit already to doing that? It's a good cause, it's our building, and they're applying for a grant to save us half the money. So that's a great thing, right? I like that, and if they get it, it can save us some money. The flip side is we're committing some of our capital for 2023, or 2023 now.
And it's 3 times what we committed this year. And my other question, sort of unrelated, but have we, the town, done a viability study on this, or has the museum done that? Like, I mean, are the numbers there to support it? I don't know, maybe it was done 60 years ago, 50 years ago, last year, I don't know, I'm asking the question.
Viability study on the building?
Well, the building, the service, all of that. Do we have the viewership? Do we have the attendee base to support? I don't even know how large your base is, your board of directors. Ours was purely, our blacksmith shop was purely volunteer, but I know that there's paid personnel. So again, I have not seen the numbers. I'm not part of the committee, so I don't know.
Yeah, no. Yeah, what's the, Councillor Stenhouse?
I wanted to kind of add to that, looking into the future, is this museum something we want to invest in? As I've talked to a few people, and they say they don't go to museums, they use the virtual reality tours. Schools are using virtual reality tours for museum sites and ocean sites and stuff like that. So
Darlene has been working with the schools, they have been coming in for tours of the museum. Pleasant View Lodge comes regularly for teas and visits, and they have open houses, which they just had for the Royal Purple, which I'll explain in my report. But
Donna, does the museum have numbers, like how many visitors? I know before when we had the,
I know we had asked her that before for I think it was the visitors information or something, I'm not sure.
and
I mean, I could ask Darlene if she could get us the numbers for last year, just to see.
yeah, and again, the last couple of years would be terrible to
That's
look
true.
at.
Right.
And I
because
know
of
before
COVID.
that the numbers were including the visitor information center. So, yeah, what are we gonna get from those numbers right now with COVID?
Yeah, and to be fair, let's benchmark it from 5 years ago, that's a fair benchmark, right?
Yeah.
And then just see if the trend's going up, the trend's going down, and are we counting, for example, the school, are we counting every student as one, or is it an entity, a unit, one unit comes in, right? I don't know.
I'll talk to Darlene and see what she can pull up.
Okay, so what I'm hearing, or just what I've heard is wait on this one, or like I said, I know in some ways it's our building, it's good if we can get it updated and improved at half the price with the CPEP grant. But I also hear, well, what's the value, how much we're investing? I think, is this 28,000 that's on this list, that 28 that we've committed this year?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
it would be $28,000 less in the next one, and so the matching grants would be $14,000 less next year? Because well, it's 166 that is total, minus the 28,6. So it would be 14,000 less.
Says right there, it's 56,000, we took away.
Oh, okay, you're in the RFD, yeah. Okay.
And I would just, from my perspective, maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, it's the full 28,000 that you've already committed, even though 50% is now gonna get funded by the province, it's 28,000 from the 83. Do you follow what I'm saying? Because you already committed 28.
Oh, right, yeah. So if we go ahead with the project this year, and the
Well-
28 is spent, I wonder, they probably can't use that.
That's correct. She's not recommending to go ahead right now, but to wait for the funding, whether or not you get the funding. So wait for the 28.6, get your bang for your buck, 50% funded by the province, and make it as a part of this project is what she's recommending. Sorry, where's my thought? I missed it.
So that would be in line with what Councillor Stenhouse suggested, wait, put that into the bucket of, that's exactly what you're saying,
Yeah.
which is,
Yes, that is what she's requesting.
Okay. Okay, so that 28,000 wouldn't get, sorry, Councilor Waco?
I think it's vitally important that we don't lose sight of the fact of a couple of things here, that one, this is our museum, and it does contain our history in it, and we need to invest in it. I understand we're gonna be waiting for the 2023 budget, but I don't want people to lose sight of the fact that this is our history here, it is our area, and we have to protect that. Two, the other thing that we have to realize is that even if museums do go totally virtual and, you know, museum buildings as such are a thing of the past, that this is still our asset. We still own this building. So regardless of whether or not there's a museum in it, this work needs to be done.
All right, any other comments on this one?
I just wanted to clarify, you asked if the work was gonna be done in 2022. It would not. It would be for the summer of 2023. So you're making the grant application in September, waiting to hear back by January, tendering in February for work to be completed in 2023. That was my point I wanted to make earlier and forgot. Sorry.
No, we're cool.
So, I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, one thing, for them to apply on the grant, they need two things. One is the letter showing a long-term lease, which we've approved. Number two, they need to have a commitment for those funds, or some way of matching it, so that they can start applying. So we give the letter of support, but not necessarily the funds, so they can't apply. That would be the end result, right? And what they're at, we've got, yeah, okay. From my way of thinking, I'd be okay with committing X amount, like the 83,000, because we'd already committed the 28, so it's that 56,000 more to improve our building. I mean, and they can apply on the grant, if something happens and council decides we really don't want to spend that money, we don't have to spend it, right? It's like any capital project. We know we get the funding, if we get the grant, to me, it's 50 cents on the dollar, it's a good deal. And if we don't have to spend the money on that project, but at least they can start it and get it going. So that's where I'm at. I would be all right with approving it at this point, because it's, yeah, that's where I'm at. Okay, John?
Just some input around that as well, it is, as Councilor Rico's pointed out, it is our asset, and the work that is gonna be done, I noticed that 23,656 is gonna be sidewalks. You know what, we don't need our assets becoming liabilities to us, and sidewalks that are in disrepair and stuff become liability to us as a town. And so my thinking, and you know, I've sort of been going back and forth on this, but my thinking is we need to throw our approval on this and, you know, say, let them know that we're willing to match that grant. And if we do it now, we can use that initial 20,000 on there, so.
Okay, thank you. Other comments on it?
Did you want to clarify the sidewalk?
Sorry? Oh,
The sidewalk was for part of the existing sidewalk that's there, but what Darlene had asked is that a sidewalk be extended on the west side of the building from the arena parking lot, so people pulling up into the parking lot in wheelchairs or whatever could access it, because right now they have to basically park on the street, and
go
this
around.
would be a wider sidewalk. It'd be, have to build the ground up there, because the parking lot is quite a bit higher than the actual ground level in front of the,
Well, that building was there, the old town office.
yes.
no,
So
I know
where some of
that's, when we went to the T, that's exactly what we did. We just cut across the grass. We didn't take a sidewalk, so I know what you're, that's where she wants to put it, yeah.
And the other thing too is the sidewalk entrance into the building is like this. So again, you have seniors walking and other people walking, and the sidewalk is, so it's also the sidewalk entrance to the building that needs to be repaired as well, because it's a safety hazard for people, because it's uneven and people will fall and trip, especially the seniors, etc. So right now, my motion is to accept this for the 2023 for information. So that's the motion that's on the table right now. So
No, it's not.
we can do this one, and then either that or I'll rescind mine and somebody can make a different motion.
Yeah, I guess I'm just, I know where, I guess I'm coming from after all of our discussions. I'm trying to feel where others are at. Or we can just call it to a vote and go from there.
Well, Councillor Tanaka's motion also has, and request that the board submit, you know, the amount for the 2023 capital budget. That was, so your motion has both parts. So both parts have to be.
If I may be so bold, Councillor Tanaka, perhaps
That's right.
rescind your motion that you made and just reword it so it fits what we're doing here.
Well, as Councillor Martins just pointed out, it's actually, that's what the motion says. I
Is it?
was, yeah, because it says, number one, Receive the request to support the museum, oh, for information.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's the part, yeah. Oh. But request the board submit the budgets in the 2023 capital budget. Yeah. Yeah, I'm saying, yeah, submit it for the 2023 budget, but allow them to apply now. That's what I'm saying.
But you still have to commit that money then.
For the 2023 budget.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not ready to commit that money to the, I'm not ready to commit money to the museum in the 2023 budget. And my reasoning for that is, so you talked about when the auditors were doing their report, you talked about this building, they have asbestos. We're talking about interior repairs. So then they're gonna come up with, that's an old building, it's got asbestos, it's got this, it's got that.
A lot of the renovations were done in there when the library moved out, and I know there was concern about asbestos at that time, and none was found then.
I think as well too, just to remember that I believe the museum applied for the CFIP grant to repair that back wall. The east, yeah, that whole east wall needed to be redone and the north wall. And I believe Darlene had applied to a CFIP grant for that, which she got, so it really that wall costed the town in kind, and I think that was it. Because they had gotten the complete money to repair that, do that whole wall repair, because the bricks were breaking and sinking and stuff, so.
So yeah, we've got the ballot, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to clarify one thing, because option number 1 shows to a maximum of 100,000, and I just wanted to elaborate on that. The reason that it's at 100,000 is because there are 2 unknowns. Gee, I don't remember what those ones are, but
It was the windows,
isn't there the windows and
the window shutters, painting.
oh, the painting price tag is not in here and the shutters are not in here. That's why we suggested 50% maximum. So that's why if you're planning on approving an amount, then that would probably be the better amount to consider, because it includes all those. But I mean, if you decide that you're gonna fund X, Y, and Z and only those ones, then, you know, that's.
So what you're telling me is the museum wants to add some items to this list and up the price to about 200,000 for the application, is that what you're saying? Okay,
Well,
and
we're
they wanna do
ballparking it at
painting and they
200,000.
wanna do some shutters for it,
Which windows?
okay.
Was the ones on the south side of the building, and the one on in the office on the north side. Replace them.
So that's in the first paragraph of the RFD.
Yeah. All right, we have one motion on the floor.
Well, I'm gonna rescind my motion, based on the discussion, I'm gonna rescind my motion, if somebody wants to make another motion, they can go ahead.
All right, another motion,
Okay, I'll make it.
all right,
That council received the letter from the museum for information.
all right. We'll go, we've hashed this out, so I'll just go to a vote. All in favor? Opposed? Did I miss your vote, John? You're on mute, so I didn't hear you, sorry. I didn't see your hand until later. Were you in favor or opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay. So that motion was defeated. Anybody want to make another motion?
I want to make sure I get the wording right. Council, I'll go with option one. Council provide a letter of support to the High Prairie District Museum for their CFAP grant application and approve a maximum of $100,000 to be funded from unrestricted reserves. Is that, Rita, is that right? Okay.
Now, and I know from reading the RFD, we don't have that much money in unrestricted.
Oh, you do, in unrestricted.
Oh, we do? Okay, so
Yes.
where did I read that from?
What I'm saying is that the current reserve levels are insufficient to meet all capital expenditures. So priorities should be identified is kind of like the
Just
caution.
adding more to an already big list is what you were saying. We've got this huge list of capital items, and I do understand what Councillor Stenhouse is saying, right? Committing now versus when we have the full list in front of you. Yeah, I don't like doing that, but knowing that for me, I'm just saying that at 50 cents on the dollar to improve our building, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, this is all, this is all contingent on getting the CPAP grant.
Yeah.
And as was stated, this isn't all cash, this is also could be in kind. So,
Cash.
This is saying 100,000 from unrestricted reserves.
And your motion just ups what Council Janaka's motion was, so you've just gone over, you were hashing out a lower amount, now you've gone higher.
okay, so hang on, then I'll switch the number then. To
And we don't even know if it's viable.
the 56, right?
28,000 off of the 100.
Well,
Yeah.
no, they're not doing the 28,000 at this point, so.
No, but what we're doing,
Carry the 28 over.
We
Yeah,
don't-
carry the 20.
We don't know that. I just asked that question, can they wait? We don't know that answer
Yes,
yet.
yes, we do. We have asked Arlene that question.
so okay, so then I will amend the amount in my motion to be the, I don't know, math for me, Brian.
Well, I got
Well,
calculators.
that's exactly the motion that Council Janaka made then.
22,000.
No, it's not, because that was it receiving it for information. And I'm saying that we have to commit to this building,
72,000 from unrestricted and carry over the 28.
so then it would be 50,
Subtract
Six for next-
the
oh, okay, so-
28,600.
okay, so,
Make the 100.
So when you subtract it, it's 71,400.
that number,
Plus the 28.6 from 2022.
Yes.
Plus their operating budget.
Yeah.
It's not like this is just one amount. The operating, like, they're gonna request their operating budget also.
All right, any other thoughts, comments on this one before we vote?
You get the
So
money.
the motion is for the 71,400
Yeah.
of unrestricted. Is there, and I know you were hinting earlier, I'm just thinking in my head, is there stuff that the town could do that might lower how much cash we're putting in, but still help with getting the job done? Like, can we do the sidewalk or something like that? I don't know if we can commit, or if we can say,
The town doesn't do its own sidewalk, it contracts it out, so.
no, I'm just throwing that out. I don't know if it is, but like, that was Councillor Wakel's idea that maybe there's some
in kind.
in-kind work that we can do. And if we word this motion in such a way that, 71,400 in cash or
Yeah, or in kind,
in kind, because then we can,
then it gives us the.
It would be a max of that.
a maximum of.
Yes.
of that.
Just for clarification purposes,
Help us out here.
Would you not say 71,400 plus the 28,600 from 2022's budget?
Probably should say that, so it's
So
clear.
that you understand that you're committing to a maximum of 100,000 in 2023.
Yeah.
And if you can do services in kind, that you could. However, if this is done in the summer months, you're aware that our public works go flat out in the summer months. So I'm not sure where we're gonna find the manpower to do unless we find volunteers.
Yeah.
Which we will work with Darlene to do so, but.
That gives a year to find volunteers too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people that are wasting 5 or 6 hours a night sleeping, so. okay.
So what I've got from all of this is, yeah, number one, it's the 71,400 plus the 28,600. And we want to include the ability to have in-kind to make up that amount. Is that your
Yes.
motion?
Yes.
Okay. So we're all clear on it. We may not all agree, but at least we know what we're voting on. All in favor? Opposed? All right, so that motion will pass, and she can get started on that application. Okay, moving on to 6.3, joint health professionals. Can I have a motion on this one? Well, I'll make the motion that council approve the terms of reference for the Joint Health Professionals Attraction and Retention Committee. Start with that one. Is there any discussion on that? I know the county has approved this, and this is the one where we're gonna get people to actually be an active committee to work with the families of new doctors and perhaps nurses coming in.
I know I'm on that committee, but are these going to be paid volunteers?
No, they're not paid, other than the council would get, because it would be an approved committee for council. So it's partially paid, but the intent was not to have the other ones paid. It was to be volunteers that were really interested in this, and that's actually one of the things for me that I had thought we had talked about is only having one council versus two. And I'm not really sure how two got in here, but I know the county signed off on it. And so I'm all right to start with two, but you know, once we get going, I would see reducing that terms of reference in the future. And if any council wants to go on it, this would be one of those committees where you can actually get out and do something. This is a committee where you get out and it wouldn't be just a decision-making committee. This would be a committee where you're gonna be, you know, setting up barbecues and taking people on a tour out to Lesser Slave Lake, or doing whatever is needed to make, you know, for those, I don't know what it will be, but it's going to be an action committee, not a decision-making committee. Councilor Martins.
So are the two appointments, is it an actual appointment and an alternate like we always have, or are they two?
No, this is two people that would sit on it.
I recall us doing member at large, like community people. I didn't think that they were councils. Was that not?
Well, there was always an intent to have one from each, at least one. And like I said, I'm not sure where two snuck in, but try it with two. If it doesn't work, and you know, if there's two people that are really pumped, we can do it. And the terms of reference can be changed if it's not working. I'd rather see this get started and get moving. It's been a long time since getting this going. I'd rather see it move ahead than try to redo the terms of reference at this point. Get it started. We've got new doctors in town already. you know, a couple of new families. I'd like to get advertising for some people and get this committee started. So for me, I'm all right with two at this point in time.
Did the numbers come from the intermunicipal agreement, our committee? I think that's where the numbers
Yeah.
come from.
And yet, I don't remember that. But anyways, yeah, and I know Jordan had sent these out and asked for clarification, and I don't remember catching it. When I read it over, I went, oh, good, this is here and it's done, and I went, finally, we can get this moving. And I didn't catch the two, so I know I'm partially responsible. This was, my idea was one, but we should have caught it.
And it also states that it's a 2-year term.
For council or for members at large?
Well, it says members of the ARC shall be appointed for a 2-year term.
Okay. Like I say, the terms of reference can change. It's our committee, we can change those. You know, just have to get agreement on it. But- So, can we live with the terms of reference? That's the motion. All in favor? All right. I wasn't sure. Councillor Yashishin, was your hand up? Sorry, I didn't catch it. I just want to double check. Yeah. Okay, so that passes. So then, anybody want to go to number 2? Who would like to be on this committee? And would like to get going and interact with the doctors and that kind of stuff?
It doesn't say in the terms of reference, unless I can't see it, like, when are they meeting? Days, evenings?
All of this is to be set up by the members, first been identified, it's a brand new from the ground up, right? So,
Right, and yeah, they can decide on some of that, what's gonna work for them. And the meetings will be held as required for effective functioning of the committee and at the call of the chair. So they've left it pretty broad at this point to say, you know, meet when you need. And they've also made the ability to have subcommittees. So you might have a subcommittee that gets together to hold, bring your kids to the park day. You know, that kind of thing, and somebody will host that, and somebody will do a barbecue, and that, so there's lots of flexibility in it. If somebody's got the time to put into those, it would be good, because it's a doer position.
I just want
Yeah, and I know I don't have the time I'd like to, but I think it's a great cause. It's a wonderful cause.
It is, but we're adding to our committee list again.
I know, yeah. Councilor Martins?
so being on this exact same committee in the past, this is like deja vu for me. I would host teas and take doctors and their wives and their kids around. So I mean, if there was people jumping, I would say go for it, but I've done this before. I'd love to do it,
Oh,
be the
perfect,
host.
yeah.
But that's just
Well,
one, and I'd like to know who on Big Lakes is part of this committee.
I don't know the answer to that, but it would be wonderful, somebody with some experience, that's not, who is it?
They'll appoint tomorrow.
But their meeting isn't tomorrow, it's next Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
It's next
Oh, they
Wednesday.
appointed the terms of reference and now they're doing the, oh, but they've advertised for their members at large?
I don't believe, because we could share a ad, like put that.
Oh, okay, yeah,
That was my thoughts to do that.
that would be good, yeah.
You're requesting both county and.
Yeah, and we did get that sample ads from
Yes.
RPAP to help with
Right
it.
here, yeah.
RPAP will help with it. So that's great, and so somebody with experience in doing that, that's fantastic. Is there anybody else that would be interested in doing that? Oh, John? Jason.
One it is then, we just appoint,
Yeah. Oh,
I'm just still wondering about the time commitment, that's all, like,
yeah,
I'll do it.
well, we got a bunch of, yeah.
I'll do it. If she's gonna do it, but like, if you wanna do it, I don't, whatever.
I just,
You know, I'll step up if it's,
Just looking for clarification
Okay.
on that. So it's for new coming in. And I look at, we're gonna have them coming in. There is the two of the counselors from Big Lakes as well. I'm wondering how that time commitment would be shared.
Well, and then the members at large to come up with activities and then go out and initiate them and do them with the families. That's the plan, right? Somebody with creative ideas and what would be good, talking to the families, what would they like, figuring out how we can do them. There's the small budget there at this point.
$1,000.
Well, 2,000,
Yeah.
1,000 from
Yeah, that's,
each.
yeah.
But, so it's a small budget, but, you know, you can do a lot of things without money.
That's true.
I
That
agree,
is true.
the best value in the past came from ride-alongs, going to existing events, you know, showing them the churches. I mean, it was more about showing them who's who in the zoo, and that warm, it's mostly a hostess position. I mean, you have to be warm and personable and love people and bring them, I used to bring them to my house and have dinners and barbecues and show them chickens and ducks. I mean, and that cost $0, so it was partly that. I don't have ducks or chickens because of our bylaw committee, and no hens allowed, I mean, but, you know.
But you could have bees, you could get a bee farm going.
Yeah,
I
no.
got an ant farm over at my house.
But yeah, I agree, a lot can be done without money,
Yeah.
because I don't think money's essential. This is a person kind of, you know.
Yeah, no, that's the way I see it too. And
Yeah, I see it as very welcoming and, you know, proud of the community and showing what the community's all about,
Yeah.
for sure.
all right, so is that?
Taking them
that
to the
you wanna
museum.
If you're interested?
I could,
Oh, okay.
unless James really wants to.
No, it's fine.
All right, so I'm gonna make the motion then that, where was the council appoint Councillor Martins and Councillor Yashishin to the Joint Health Profession Attraction Retention Committee. All in favor? Yeah. Carried. Item 8.1 is CAO appointment. And we've got the addition there. Addendum. Oh, okay, John, you don't have a copy of this?
You could email that to them real quick if we took a break.
We took a break.
Well, I can't email it because I don't have it in here. but
Take a
I might-
picture with your phone
I'll do
and
it.
text
Yeah.
them.
You wanna send it?
Yeah, I got it.
We wanna take a break and then,
Yeah, take a break.
okay, we'll take a 10-minute break and then we'll come back and do it, or 5-minute break, 5-minute break. Short,
Can you time me how
This
long